Hi everyone, welcome to today's Hooray, It's Live with Courtney. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in New South Wales, Australia on the beautiful Central Coast, and I just thought I'd pop in and say hello for my regular Thursday shout out. I hope that you're all well, and we will get started relatively quickly. So what I've got for you today is a little bit of old lips with a little bit of new mixed with the product of the month, because we've still got our beautiful product of the month, which this month happens to be our fabulous stamp set called Fabulous Sayings. Funny that, hey? Bit of a play on words there. Now, Fabulous Sayings is all sentiments. There's a little bit of inside, a little bit of outside, and it's just one of those stamp sets that I think belongs in everybody's craft room. You may see the back of me here is a bit of a construction site, but that's all sweet. We're getting some new tables in the craft room at the moment. So without further ado, I will show you what I'm talking about. Let me just pull these guys up here. This is Fabulous Sayings. You may have seen it last week when I initially showed it to you, and the Natural Botanicals set. The Natural Botanicals set is a greenery set, or whatever colour you like actually, is a set from the annual catalogue. It's around until May at this stage. We do get a new catalogue in May. So a couple of things that to keep in mind if you're looking at any of the in colours from the range that was big for 24 to 26, you may want to actually make sure you've got reinkers and stuff like that for them. So just saying. Now, I've also got some designer series paper, and that is from the oh, what suite was that? Let me just pull that back up. The Brush with Beauty suite, the Brush with Beauty paper. I've just got a little piece of that to go with this. So what I'm going to show you today is a technique where we can use any color we like for our embossing. Okay, all you will need is your clear embossing powder and your colored inks. So let's get happening. I've also brought over a punch because these guys don't fit on any of our standard punches, or very few of our standard punches. Like I'll just show you, for example, I really like this punch. This is a fun punch. And if I can probably look up and see what it's called. Ooh, the punches shop, or I just use the online store when I need to, just to see what things are called. This little treasure is the Modern Oval Punch. Modern Oval Punch is approximately 4 centimeters wide. All right, and you'll notice that nobody or very few things fit in that. The thank you fits in it, and that's about the extent of it, but you'll notice it's too short for everybody else. So I'm going to show you how to extend that punch as well. Okay, so a couple of things we're doing now. I am going to do a You're on My Mind card today, because I think that that's actually a very nice sentiment. So I'm just going to pull that one out. Still got some of that black embossing powder that we flew all over the place the other day. It's still hanging around everywhere. So many sentiments. It's a bit hard to read through there. You're on my mind. Sending love with this goes with it so much. There are simply no words for this, just because there's so many different ways that you can use these sentiments. Okay, so I'll just move a few things to the side here. Got lots of bits of paper and whatnot. I brought over my silica mat this time. Now, you will notice that the lovely black smudge has gone, if you were watching last week, from where I embossed straight onto the my glass mat. Was not a good look. Okay, so I have brought over it's very bright. I have brought over the mat today, the silica mat. So this is the paper that's from that paper pack. What I did forget to do something. It's called Brush with Beauty. Let's click on this. Yeah. So the paper pack that we're using today is called Brush with Beauty. This is just one piece of it, and that is our petal pink piece. And that's got some Darling Duckling on the background. So it just depends on what you want to use. I've just got a strip of I'm using it with early espresso today, and I have already cut out a white oval, but I will show you how to extend the size of that oval, because you'll notice, I don't know what I just did with that lemon lime twist one. Where's it hiding? I just threw it off to the side. There it is. You'll notice that my oval is so much bigger. Okay, so just something for you to, we'll have a play. We'll show you how we can extend it. Let's stick one of these on the inside just because we can, just to make sure that it's there. All right, and I've got my envelope, and I've got it. This was a little scrap. I always cut my pieces of designer series paper in half, like so they end up 6 by 12 when I'm first using them. That was just a little piece I ended up off the end, and you can use that as a little bit of a feature if you want. First things first, we're going to do a couple of different techniques. So we'll just bring in this guy. This is a 2-step stamp, or what else would you like to call it? So what you've got is you can use it in 2 different ways. And you'll notice in the packet it's grey. It's got like a grey background underneath these lined images. And that's to say that you can use the front and the back of the stamp. Now, looking at this one here, you'll notice that they're not symmetrical. So they do need to go a little bit off kilter. All right. I do like these daisies, so we'll just put the daisy on a small block. All right, and you can get away with that one being a little bit symmetrical, and this guy here. Okay, these two here, you'll notice both sort of go in different directions, so they're not really going to work for that particular part. I will pull this guy out because I want it. And it needs a relatively big block. I don't think she fits on, she might fit enough on there, only just. That is a H block. And that one, I don't know how often I'm going to use that one, because that just reminds me of other stuff that I'm not a fan of. So we won't go with that. Okay, so but first things first, let me show you this. What I'm going to do with this little this early espresso strip is I'm just going to stamp tone on tone, which means stamping our early espresso straight onto it. All right. And that's going to give us a bit of a pattern to our piece of early espresso. So essentially it's like making your own designer series paper. Okay. All right. Now, that would also look nice on our envelope. It will also look nice on our inside. Now, because I've got some of this ink on here, I will just wash that off just to make sure it doesn't end up on absolutely everything. All right. So what I might do is, well, actually what I will do is I'm going to do a little bit of stamping off. Just another little technique. So I'm just going to put this guy in the middle. And whoopsie. All right, hold your breath, everyone, while I line this back up. See if I can get it to do its thing. And I couldn't, so we'll turn that over. And we'll try. That's a bit grotty. We'll just get a new piece. I'll use that for something else. All right. Okay. And what you'll notice here is if I was to stamp, turn this guy over. Okay. Now, on a lot of our stamps in here, I'll show you, we've got an edge. See how that stamp's got that edge? Well, you'll notice that these ones don't have it, okay, because they want it to be relatively perfect. And look how solid that is. Okay, again, so I'm just going to stamp this in here. And then I'm just going to go like. And I've stamped that a few times. So it just gives like a little bit of a messy look, for want of a better way of putting it. Now I can see where I want to put the rest of my, to stick it back on your block, you do need to give it a bit of a clean, just so that you know. So just get that back off there, and we'll stick that back on our block, like so. And I'm thinking it's because I'm getting that nice whopping great big bubble underneath there. That's why it's doing that. And I'm just going to put that there. And then we might actually stick on just coming in here as well. Okay. So just a little bit of greenery, for want of a better way of putting it, but a little bit of a background piece in the back there. Okay. And I might, while I've got it out, I might put one on my envelope as well at the same time. But for the envelope, I'm just going to go straight up here like so. Okay. Looks good if you do the back flap as well. Okay, so we'll just give that a bit of a clean off, because I don't need it now. Now, I told you I was going to show you some embossing tricks. All right, so let's show you some embossing tricks. Now, there's a couple of things that we can do with our embossing, and I'm going to start on here. You can do clear embossing, or you can actually emboss with some color. Now, this is petal pink or a pale calypso coral. So I'm going to come in with some calypso coral, and I'm going to put some flowers on it. Okay, so some of those little daisies. Okay, so to do these so that you can emboss them is you'll need your color, and this will essentially make it so that you can color in any color you like, and you'll need your embossing powder. You'll also need your chamois, because you can't just, like, normally when we're embossing we'll go in, stamp it a few times, and Bob's your uncle, but we're going to need to clean it between times. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some Versamark on here. Right, and we're going to open my clear embossing powder at the same time, so that we can do, like, you need about 10 hands. No, you don't. I'm going to clear emboss here, put some calypso coral on it, and stamp it. Put that on there, and put our embossing powder so now it's got embossing powder on it. Okay, just that one flower. It is a little bit slower than doing anything like doing embossing in other ways. All right. And some more embossing powder. And you'll notice I haven't heated it yet. So I'm just Versamark, calypso coral, and stamp. Right. As much as you like. You can do this. Let's go this way. Okay. Now, you can't see it, but I can. There is a little mark where I'm putting this Versamark onto my calypso coral. So I am keeping it all fairly central in that one area. And we'll have one over here. So essentially I'm making my own designer series paper. Now this paper did have some pretty pieces with it that had flowers all over it, but they're very busy, and I just wanted it a little bit simpler. And sometimes you don't need to have lots and lots of flowers. It's nice, flowers are lovely, but sometimes you just want something that's just a little bit simpler. Let's go up here. And then I'm just going to pick it up. Didn't want to come up on my fingers. Put some on that one. let's heat these guys up. And before I do that, I am putting the lid on. Not like last week where I sent it flying absolutely everywhere. Put the lid on. So Bella Espresso goes with this colour. It goes with Calypso Coral and Petal Pink quite beautifully. Okay, where is the heat tool? Right here. Gosh, if you can see my desk. Oh my gosh. So I'm just going to hold this piece of paper still. Now, you may not be able to hear me. I won't be able to talk while I'm doing this. So just watch these flowers come to life. This is with clear embossing powder and Calypso Coral ink underneath. You see it's starting to change colour? Once it starts to change colour, you can just move from flower to flower. Because essentially the heat tool is hot enough now. It just sometimes takes a bit to warm up. Now my finger's getting burnt. And you'll see this one go now. Now the difference with this and your normal embossing powders and stuff is it's not going to be, it's not going to be absolutely perfect. But essentially I now have Calypso Coral embossing, okay, on there. All right, it feels so cool. So that piece is going to go, like, because you saw my mess. I do this all the time. You saw my mess, but that's okay. That piece is going to go over there. This piece is going to sit on here just as a feature piece. It's up to you whether you do whatever you want with it. You can send it through the embossing folder. You can do quite a lot of things. And then I was thinking about just putting the You're on My Mind here and tizzing it up a little bit. So we'll see how we go. We've got some fibre. These little strips are cut. They're 4 centimetres wide. All right. So if we want to, depending on what colour you want to use, let's see, what colour sentiment should we have on here? I'm thinking that we'll go again with I'm thinking early espresso and bring the Calypso Coral, and I brought over some Lost Lagoon as well. So we'll sort of see how we go with that. I might put some leaves and stuff on there to go in there as well. But I'm thinking that I'll bring the Calypso Coral embossed to the front with my sentiment. So again, opening up my Versamark and my Calypso Coral. And this will show you how glorious it looks. I mean, sentiments are beautiful when they're done anyway. So what I'm doing, so this is 4 centimetres wide. I measured the width of my punch. Hi, Lol, how you going? I measured the width of my punch and then I cut it to the width of the punch. So I'm just putting some Versamark on this one. Get some Calypso Coral on it. And I'm just plunking it essentially in the middle. Okay? Just holding it a little bit longer than I would normally, just so that that ink can transfer over there quite nicely. Okay? We'll grab embossing powder. And the thing with doing this, you get one go. Now, in saying that, if you're a demonstrator, have you seen the new stamp positioner? Oh, what happened there? Oh, this is going to be interesting. I have a sneaking suspicion we missed a bit, but we'll see. I might need another piece, guys. Let's move that to the side. Just heat this up. I have a sneaking suspicion. I don't know. Can you see that? There's a bit missing there. All right. It didn't get any ink on it. I'm going to have to do that bit again. Can you see that? There isn't any ink down that bottom of that Y with the Calypso Coral. All right, so we'll just turn that over. Okay, and we'll try again. So I'll just give it a clean because I don't want to put Calypso Coral onto my Versamark ink. Okay. I'll just pop that onto there. Okay. Just cover all them up. That's better this time. Lucky there is 2 sides to every piece of paper, hey? Okay, let's try that again. And you, like I said, you've got 50 colours. You can do this in any one of them. And if you count the new basic beige, that's 51. So if you count basic beige, you've got 51 colours that you can now emboss in, okay? So that's there embossed with Calypso Coral, okay? Now, you're thinking, how does she make this so that it's the right size? So what I've done is, if I shove this piece through here, because that's the easiest way I find to get it in. You can see it doesn't fit. But if I then bring it through a little bit more and I pull it out, that's the easiest way I found to put it on. So initially I used to go like this and try and shove it in that way, but let me tell you, it was so hard and I couldn't get it through. So now I've made it so it's just the right size for the width of my punch. Eyeball it and make sure that it's straight on both sides and then punch that end out. Now I could leave that and just have it like a tag. Choice is yours. My gosh, that was lucky because that's the wrong side, because that's the one with the dodgy Y. Lucky that I did it in the middle. Then again, the same this side. Oh, let me pull this through here, pull it up, and eyeball it to make sure it's straight on either side, and go. And there I have my longer punch. Okay, and you can do it on either on any punch, like that sort of punch. All right, so you can see that it's much bigger. Okay, so that is my sentiment piece. Now this is looking a bit boring to me. Okay, it needs more color. So this stamp set does not have a what's it called, a set of dies. So it's up to you with what you're going to do. So this is where I would normally get my scissors out and let's do some fussy cutting. Now, because we've used this piece already, I'm tempted to use that again. And I'm thinking I would like to add a little bit more color to this because it needs color. It needs ribbon and it needs color. I bought this over from the Basics, Basic Twine pack. But I'm thinking that we're going to need some of this. This is Lost Lagoon, and I think that Lost Lagoon will be a lovely combination of it, just to go with it. It's a beautiful colour. Okay. All right. So I'm going to cut 2. Okay. All right, there's that. And I've got these little guys here that are embossed. Now, if you want to, you can emboss some more on here. And let me show you that so you can see that. All right, because I'm just going to pop one up a bit. And I need the Versamark. Okay, and again. Versamark, colour, stamp. Clean, Versamark, colour, stamp. Now, these will be a bit more patchy than the ones that I've already just done, and that will be because I took a little bit longer to get them to the embossing powder, and I'm okay with that because they don't need to be perfect. All right, they just need to look pretty. All right, so just put them. Okay, so just warm those guys up. I often don't know how much you guys can hear. It just brings that colour out beautifully, doesn't it? But see how they're a little bit more patchy than the other ones? And that's just because I waited that little bit of time. Now, this is when we get in our snips, and we're just going to fussy cut these out. In particular, this one. Actually, I was going to put some colour on this first, but too late now. Okay. And moving the paper, not the scissors. Doesn't need, like I said, it doesn't need to be perfect. This is a handmade card. If it looks perfect, no one will believe it was a handmade card. And that's just something to keep in mind at times. Okay. Just keep this around and round and round. I might not need both of them actually. See what it looks like with just one before I cut that second one out. Might decide I don't want that second one. Okay, and there's that one. And let's cut out these two. I definitely want these two flowers though, so I'll just cut them in half just to make it a little bit faster, because I seem to be able to manipulate the paper a bit better. And look, these look lovely embossed in gold and silver and all that sort of stuff, but sometimes it's nice just to have the colours that you're using. So it's nice to be able to emboss with the colour. And we've got our metallics, which are really nice, and we've got our basics. So you've got your white and your black and your clear, which is the packet that this one came out of. But sometimes it's just nice to have a little bit of shiny colour. Okay, and the beauty about doing that is then you can add other colour to these guys. So I'm actually going to add a little bit of colour with a Winker Stella to the centre of these flowers, just so that they're a little bit, they're not just plain white. Okay, has anyone else done this before? Hey Cheryl. School holidays. No wonder you've got the grandkiddies at home. And I know your grandkiddies like to craft, especially little Miss Charlotte. All right, so where's my card? Bring this back. Okay. And I am going to tuck this guy in underneath there. And then I'm bringing this one up here. And I haven't decided where I'm putting that other one. I'm not overly excited about it at the moment. I feel like I need more colour. All right, let's bring in some leaves. To me, it's not keeping me happy at the minute. Okay, so what are we going to do? Let's see how I can here's this up a bit. This is a tiny little leaf. All right, not really doing it for me. Oh, Sam made a card today, did he, Cheryl? That would have been cute. Okay, so I'm just going to bring my lost lagoon back in, and I'm going to ditch this piece for a sec. Let's see if we can add a bit of lost lagoon to this. So some leaves. Oops, there's only half a leaf. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. All right, saved by the bell, that one. Okay, don't want a lot, just a little bit, just to break up so much of this Calypso coral color. And I know some of these pieces are going to get hidden by that piece there of my early espresso, but I'm okay with that. Okay. And we'll just have a little bit there. Oh, it's got something stuck on it. Don't know what that is. I think that's going to make it a huge difference. Okay. That's just going to go there. So far, that's going to go there. This is going to go over the top. What about if we go this way? That makes me a little bit happier. What do you reckon? Just a different way to cluster it up. Okay, so hopefully the trimmer's within arm's reach. If it's not, I'll show you what I do. Now, it's looking pretty good, but let's add a little bit more colour because it's not really cutting it for me. Now, is this my Winker Stella that's actually got some in it? So sometimes when you've got a Winker Stella and they're a bit, I don't know, empty, here it is. You can see, if you hold it up to the light, you can actually see what's in it because they have a, it's like a shadow. You can see sort of the shadow. This one here, you can see this one's still got, it's up to about here, but it's hard to see. You can see the shadow. This one I've actually put some alcohol in because when you finished with the Winker Stella, there's actually still quite a lot of bit of glitter in it. All right, which means I can then do this. Now, it's really hard for you guys to see, but I'm actually adding some bling. All right, and they're just splatters of bling. Now, if you want to add some colored splatters of bling, what my suggestion is that you get a block. You can get a re-inker and do this, but if you get a block and you put a bit of color onto the block, all right, and then you put some color onto your Winker Stella, and then you splatter. Okay, and it just not messes up the paper so much, but it just changes the tone of the card. Okay, now to get rid of the color on the Winker Stella pen, because I don't, oh, actually probably look quite good in those little centers of those. They look like black, what are those flowers called? Is it black-eyed Susans? Just put a little bit of Winker Stella in here, and it's got our early espresso in it. All right. Now, to get rid of the colour out of the Wink Stella brush, you can just get a piece of paper and keep brushing it until it goes clear. You can give it a bit of a wash. You can wipe it on your mat, your cleaning piece, but until it goes clear. Once it's gone clear, all right, you can then, if you wanted to put some different colour on it, you could dip it in the side of my, I'm just dipping it in the side of my ink there, and add a little bit of colour coming out from the centre of our flower. And then I'll come out for the rest of the petals from once I've done that initial inside piece. So there's a little bit of colour in the inside, and then those petals will come out. Okay? Do the same on this one. Okay, and again, just colour my petals with some Wink Stella. Now, the Wink Stella will make it look wet initially because I've got alcohol in it, and that will just make it look that little bit wet. Okay, let's put that to the side and clean that off later. These will take a little bit to dry. If you want to speed them up, you can hit it with the heat tool. Now let me show you. If I bring it closer, hopefully it doesn't run away, like it doesn't go blurry, but you can see how it's just all got splatters all over it. It just roughs up the paper a bit, okay? If you wanted to, you could go around the edge with your blending brush and make it so that it's a little bit aged, for want of a better way of putting it. Okay, so I'm just putting a little bit around the edge. Now, because I've done that, I'm going to do the same on here. Just a bit around the edge, just to age it a little bit. Okay. All right. So let's start. Let's see now if I'm happier with that. Because I've also got some fibre to put on it. So I'll put this in here. I mean, that looks pretty just by itself, doesn't it? But I really like this piece. Okay. And then we'll stick. We'll just bring it up. That's just going to lift it up a bit. Okay. All right. So what I will do with this piece is I'm just going to stick it on here. I'm just going to use some tape. Oh, there's no glue in that one. Oh, there's some in here. Again, I was looking through the shadow. And maybe she's not. Just use the little pick on the end of your, take your pick tool just to unblock my hole there. No. You watch it come exploding out and chase me. Ah, here it comes. Look at that big knobby bit. Just wipe that on my shorts. Nobody saw that. Okay. And then we'll just put that. We'll use the mat or your grid paper to your advantage here. Make sure that you've got everything square. I know that I was going to stick. This was going to go under it, wasn't it? Just pull that up so until I want to add a little bit of colour to this. not Calypso Coral though. All right, I just want to add a little bit of Lost Lagoon. It's just a bit too white for my liking. So now I could turn the stamp over and stamp over the back of it, like with its two-step stamping, but I didn't want the whole thing to have the back. Does that make sense? Okay. Oh, so it's just a little bit of extra colour in there. Put a little bit of glue on the back here. And that's better. I'm happy now. So the colours that I used on the stamp. Oh, hold on. Did I just make it straight? Please tell me you're straight. Oh, no, you're slightly crooked. Hold on. Sorry, Cheryl. Just got to save that. Yeah, now she's right. So the colours I've used are Lost Lagoon and Calypso Coral and Early Espresso. So I didn't bring my trimmer over, so now I'm just going to turn this over and use that line that I've cut straight there to cut that piece off. Okay. Now my You're on My Mind is going to sit up here. Why does that not look straight? Man, my eyes. No, she's pretty good. Okay. My eyes are giving me grief. Okay, just close this one up. Where's my twine? You could put ribbon on here if you wanted to. There's heaps of different ribbons that we've got to choose from. I have a tendency, I've been finding that I've been going to the cloud cover one because it reminds me of a paler Lost Lagoon. We could put a little bit of that. It's such pretty ribbon. Now, speaking of in colours, the in colours are going to go away. Actually, you know what? I am going to put some of this on it. The in colours that are going to go away, like our Petunia Pop and that sort of stuff, you need to get a hold of them. If you are interested in them, you need to get the ring. If you've got the ink pad already, you need to get the re-inkers. Okay, just so that you know, because they will be going with this when this catalogue changes. So we'll know what the new colours are in March, but the thing is, sometimes that means that they've already gone. So just keep that in mind. If you've got the 2024 to 2026 in colour range, then you need re-inkers for them. Now is the time to get them whilst they are still available. Okay, so let me just pop this guy on. All right, so I've just folded my ribbon around to the back. I've put a little bit of tear and tape over the top of it. I'm not going to pull off that sticky. I have added a little bit of glue to the ribbon just to make sure it stays secure. I find the glue is what keeps everything secure. It just seems to work so much nicer. Okay. Let's push that down. Right, this guy here is going to go on dimensionals. And you know what? I'm thinking it needs a bit of a leaf on it. So, here's a trick. I'm just going to go over here. I'm going to stamp this leaf off. And so it's very, very pale. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh. So ever so pale, but it just gives it a little bit of extra dimension. Stops it being so white, for want of a better way of putting it. Okay. All right, do you know what? This is the one I like that is symmetrical. So This one here, and you have to clean it if you're going to do that. This one here, you can do this with. But you do want to make sure you stamp it off, because we've already stamped those other ones off. Okay. And one thing you'll notice is it won't, how's that? That's a bit better. All right. It is lovely ribbon, Cheryl. It comes in all the different colours of the in colours, but it is lovely ribbon. Now, oh, that's what I was saying. If you want stuff that's in the old in colours, you need to get your hot little hands on it sooner rather than later, because once it's gone, it's gone. All right, so You're on My Mind is going to go there. This guy is going to come along. All right, now I'm just going to, I'm thinking it just needs to be a loopy thing. So, and did you know that you can pull this apart? So if you don't want it so thick, it's, I think, 4-ply. Let me see if it's 4 or 6. It's 4. Okay. You can shred it if you don't want it as, if you want it thinner. Okay. So let's pull her apart. Now, it's all curly, as you can see, because it's been wound around everybody really tight, around each other. Just run it across your bone folder between your fingers and it, and it'll take that curl out. Okay? All right. Okay. Now, I'm going to stick it under here. I'm just going to use a little bit of this, which is our tear and tape. I'm putting it under here, which is where the sentiment is going to cover it, because then I can do this. Just wrap it around my fingers a few times, make it a bit messy, and stick it down. Where's the other piece? Again, wrap it around my fingers a little couple of times, make it a little bit messy, stick it down, so that you are only going to see little bits of it. Okay, and then you can manipulate it to how you like it. I just think it adds just like a little bit, stops it looking so, well, that one, the loop came out, that's right. Just changes what it looks like a little bit. So I'll just put some dimensionals on here. It only really needs 4. Okay. Take the little backs off. Make sure we're up the right way. Okay, and then we've got these guys. These guys need dimensionals as well. Where is the other one hiding? There was another one. I have 2. Okay, I did have 2. So far I've got 1. I've got a dimensional ready for it. I coloured it in before. Okay, it'll show up, I promise. We'll come back to that. Now, look, here it is. There it is there. Okay, these guys here are the Pearls of Beauty, and they come, there's white, Calypso Coral, and it looks like basic beige. Could be a very pale pecan pie, but it's just like a caramelly sort of colour. But I'm thinking, because we've got this white here and that's so much white clustered in the middle, I'm going to put some white gems and dots around. Now there's 2 different sizes on here. It's funny because I go, oh, I'm just going to add some pearls to that. Mum, she goes, oh, I hate the pearls. But I don't care because I like them. And we'll put a couple. Oh, there we go. One up here. And another big one up here. All right. And where's that dimensional? There it is there. So that could go here or it could go here, but I'm going to pop it there. Okay, now we put that inside on and then we're just about done. Don't know that I'm real happy with that. Hi, Vicky. How are you going? I'm not overly excited about that. What's my back look like? My back's pretty clean. Let's change the back up. Let's change that inside because I'm not overly excited. Let's do some more of our Lost Lagoon. It was just too much with that brown in there, I think. And that looks a bit better, doesn't it? What do you reckon? Now, okay. So we've got our Lost Lagoon on the front of our envelope. Now, not Lost Lagoon, we've got our early espresso. So there's a couple of things I could do here. I could leave it alone. But that's not really me because I'm not overly excited about that. Let's see what it's going to look like if we put a stamped off Lost Lagoon to go with it. So we're going to stamp it off on the inside of our card here just because we can. Make sure we do it in the middle. And I'm putting it straight over the top and over here. Over here. And then I'll just give it a bit of a clean. And you know what? I'm going to stamp over the top one more time. Nope, didn't want to stick. What do you reckon? I reckon that looks a lot better. Okay, much better. Oh, didn't glue it in, did I? And I didn't use my silica mat even though I brought it over to the table. So let's glue this one in, make sure I've got it on the right side. No one will know that there's that brown bit in there. Handmade card, hides a multitude of sins, including all of that in there. And look, it's gone. Ta-da. Now, because we put You're on My Mind, you can put absolutely, I like it better too, Cheryl. You can put absolutely anything you want on the inside. So it can be essentially for a sympathy card, a thinking of you card, or even a birthday card. But there you go. What do you reckon? All right. Totally done. And I really like the splatters. I think the splatters make the difference. The stamp set is called Natural Botanicals, and it's teamed up with our beautiful product of the month, which is Fabulous Sayings, because Fabulous Sayings has a saying for everything, and they're fun. All right. So thank you all for joining me. It was great to see you all. Let me just put this one back up here. Oh, where's my mouse gone? Oh, there it is. Far out. All right. It was good to see you all. I will catch up with you all later. Next Thursday, same place, approximately same time. There's a whole heap of links in the description. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you hit that subscribe. If you're watching on replay, just say hello and we'll catch up with you soon. All right.